This is the game where you play as the detective who gotta find his own murderer, the guy who killed you. I mean, I've never heard of such a plot before, which means the game must be good. Oh my god, I can't wait to play it. Okay, the game's gotta be as good as it looks like. I mean, come on, the plot is amazing. Oh my god, I can't wait. Okay. It sucks! This game is a perfect example on how some people can get a beautifully good idea and screw it up. I mean, come on, looking for your own murderer while being a ghost? I never played that before and it sounds so freaking interesting, but this game, it lacks so much in so many areas I almost feel betrayed to some extent. But anyway, let's talk about the story. You play as Ronan O'Connor.
Charles Lee.
Go away, he's not here, go. Yeah. You play as Ronan O'Connor, a detective who grew up in the hood. After he lost his wife to a common criminal, he has been more tenacious in stopping every single crime he's come across on. Then he goes after a serial killer who's been on the loose called the Bell Killer. Though going after the Bell Killer made the church bells play for our main character instead.
Go to arrest some freak? Find out you aren't as invincible as you thought.
But this doesn't stop our main character Ronan, as he pretty much bitch slaps death to make one last vow to find his murderer.
So, I need to figure out who killed me and stop him. That's the way I can get out of here.
This is without a doubt one of the most interesting ideas for a detective thriller I've ever heard of. And at the beginning of the playthrough, I had fun. It just puts you straight into the action. I mean, the first 10 minutes is pretty much how Ronan dies. And while it's a good thing that it drops you straight into it, it does bring up one problem. The game tries to make you feel for Ronan and his deceased wife, but there is no way in the afterlife that I will shed a tear for these two. I've only known you for like 10 minutes, I won't kiss you at the front door just yet. No, stop! As I've just said, the game is fun at the beginning, but the main problems of the story aspect of the game comes to its genre. In any detective thriller, there are certain requirements. 1. You should be able to figure out who the killer is before the revelation part of the story. 2. The main character must never, under any circumstances, go full retard. I mean, come on, he's a detective. And 3. You must never end your game, movie, book, or whatever with more unanswered questions than answered. This game doesn't meet any of these requirements. The revelation was stupid. When I was on my playthrough and I sat through that part, I was just sitting there considering what I was watching, and just disappointment just ran through my veins. I couldn't believe what I was watching. There is no way, absolutely no way, that you'll figure out who the main baddie is. And the main problem is that this game doesn't give you clues to figure out who it is. Oh, I'm sorry, there are some clues in this game, but these clues are one of the most unnecessary, out of place clues I've ever seen in any kind of detective thriller in my life. I mean, when some of these clues were presented to me, I was just sitting there and like, excuse me? Why? No? No? These clues are only there so that the developers can say, yeah, we have clues in the game on who the villain is. You just didn't put it together. For example, one clue is that you see Ronan talk to someone, and the clue suddenly pops up behind him without him seeing said clue. It's only there so that the game can pretend that it's smart, when it's not. Another example is quite early in the game when you talk to someone else, and they bring something up, but in the context it is so out of place that it can't even be considered a clue. Okay, so I said that the main character of a detective thriller should never go full retard, and by that I mean that he should never ask the questions that the player already know the answers for. As players, we want to be the main characters of these stories because they're supposed to be Sherlock Holmes. But Ronan, I would never want to be Ronan O'Connor. There is one part of the game where the Bell Killer has murdered someone. You go there to investigate, and you, the player, knows what kind of victims the Bell Killer go for. Even Ronan has said who he kills earlier in the game, and you start investigating the room of full dead people, and after spending some minutes there, he says,
No, these weren't normal Bell Killer murders. These people were just in the way. He was after Iris.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants, maybe that smoke isn't what you think it is, because what are you talking about? This isn't the only time he acts like this, so please get used to this.
These people were just in the way. He was after Iris.
And the third thing on my list, this game is like a math book without its answers on the back. Just why? I'm supposed to be a detective, why can't I get all the answers?
You were one dumb son of a bitch.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I understand. I've said a lot of bad stuff about the game so far, and it deserves it. But there is one thing that this game deserves a huge applaud for. This game made me feel an emotion towards a fictional character. A feeling I've never felt before. Absolute hatred. I never felt such a hatred towards a fictional character before, and it's in the part of the story when you meet this girl called Sophia. And holy F, is that a good part of the game. It's gotta be. If the entire game had been like that part, it would have been Game of the Year material, I promise you. I've never felt such a hard hatred over someone I've never talked to before. I mean, I never hated anyone. Too bad that the ending kind of sucked, because all my hatred just flew away from the baddie to the game itself. So let's talk about the gameplay. After hearing me talk so much negative about the story aspect of the game, obviously the gameplay must be good, or at least decent, right? Nope. The gameplay is what makes this game so bad, actually. Okay, so there are 3 types of gameplay in this game. 1, investigating crime scenes. 2, the enemy part. And 3, escorting missions. Investigating crime scenes are really easy. You can see how much evidence you need to gather. After gathering everything around you, you start using ghostly abilities to eavesdrop on people or even go into their heads to influence them to give you some answers.
Yeah, I saw it. That man in the hood. Outside. Looking up at the top apartment on the 4th floor, I think.
It sounds pretty cool, but the main problem here is the fact that there's so much evidence that are not needed in the end of the investigation. For example, in this game you can meet other ghosts that needs your help to move on to the afterlife. The first ghost you meet is that of a girl who got murdered and she can't find her body anywhere. She tells you that the only thing she remembers is some old people before passing away, so you go to the old people's apartment. In there you start looking for evidence, but once you found it all, the only evidence you need is the 2 out of the 5 evidence. Why? Why? Did I just assume those were important? Or are they only there so the game can feel longer since it's already such a damn short game? And there's another thing in the evidence gathering gameplay that I need to talk about. Sometimes in the room you can find a few items, and when you activate the area of said items, a sound is playing in the background. You need to push the items that correspond with said sound. The first time you get this puzzle is when you see 3 pictures. A picture of a woman, a picture of a girl, and a picture of a church. When you activate these pictures, you'll hear a church bell. Obviously, you'll need to activate the picture with the church. That's simple, right? It gets harder, right? Well... Okay. This is not a detective thriller called Murdered Soul Suspect. I am playing Ronan the fucking Explorer! Can you see the key? Yes, I can! Sorry about that. Investigating in this game is actually the most fun thing in this game, believe it or not. The enemies of this game are demons that's looking for you to suck up your soul Harry Potter style. Or Shang Tsung. Your soul is mine. but their AI is extremely bad. I mean, they go a few meters, like I'm a few meters in front, then they go back to where they were. Front, where they back, where they were. And when they see you, they always know where we are, and you can hide in these ghostly places, like ghostly, you can see them, they're like ghostly auras. You can hide in them, becoming completely invisible, but they can see you. So you gotta hide, like quick hide. You look at another one that's close by, another ghost aura, and you push R2 on the PS4, of course, and you get teleported to that. And the thing is, the demon knows that you're changing, so it goes through that. And if you are waiting too long, that it will start screaming, yeah! And therefore you have to do it quickly again. And you can just do it with the two hiding spots, just to point A to point B all the time. And after doing that for a short amount of time, the demon will just, oh, okay, he's not here. After following you, it's stupid. And the only way to kill these demons are to sneak behind them, which is extremely easy because you can see past walls, and they can't, and you can obviously move through objects because you're a ghost. And then you just go behind them, and a quick time event prompt will show up, and it's usually, and it is pretty much, moving the left analog stick and one of the buttons. I never felt threatened by these guys. They're extremely easy to read and therefore easy to move around from. Plus, you can look through the walls, and they can't, making them more of a bore than anything. With Ronan, Joy is the co-star of this adventure. She's a spirit medium, so she can talk to ghosts. Anyway, we all know that the escort missions are extremely annoying. So how about an escort mission you can never fail? I'm not joking, you can never fail these missions. It doesn't allow you to fail. When Joy hides in the shadows, you, as a ghost, need to use your poltergeist ability to activate electronics, from phones to fax machines. Once you've activated any of these things, the guards will inspect it, and Joy will sneak behind them to the next area where you have to do the same thing again. I have never seen such a pointless escort mission thing in any game before. It's only there to make the game feel longer. Plus, the guards in these games are rather stupid. I've said all there is to say about this game. The story entertains you measly at the beginning of the game, yet slowly make sure that the payoff it isn't worth it. The gameplay is mediocre at best. You know, investigation is the funnest part, but you know, Ronan the Explorer. Characters are just meh. I never truly felt an attachment towards them, and an ending so insulting to the genre that I just want to puke. This game gets a 4 out of 10. It was such a good idea. It looks good from a distance, but once you get up close, you can see that it went from being a good idea to Pepsi Max without carbon dioxide.